All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to your daily hit here with Adam Jewell. Today is Tuesday, November 12th, and the big news of the day today is some of Donald Trump's new picks or appointments that he has made. And today he has made three that are pretty large. The first one is Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. You might know Pete from Fox and Friends on Sundays. He's one of the anchors on Fox News. Um, the next appointment that he made, or the next two appointments, so to say, that he made, was both Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, appointing them to the new Department of Government Efficiency as advisors, which we'll get into in just a minute here. But prior to today, I will have to admit that I didn't know much about Pete Hegseth. So I did a little investigating, a little research, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about him so you don't have to look it up yourself. So we'll just jump right into that. First off, so again, Pete Hegseth, he is up for the role as Secretary of Defense. Pete was born in 1980, so he's 44 years old. Quick fun fact, if he in fact does become Secretary of Defense, he will be the second youngest Secretary of Defense ever, next to Rumsfeld, who was appointed at 43 under the Ford administration. So he'll be a relatively young Secretary of Defense. He attended high school in Minnesota at Forest Lake Area High School. He went on to graduate from Princeton in 2003 with a Bachelor of the Arts. And then later, 10 years later, in 2013, he went on and received a Master's of Public Policy from the John Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. So he is both a Princeton and a Harvard alum. And then he has a pretty lengthy military record right now. He began as an infantry officer in the U.S. Army National Guard. In 2004, his unit went to Guantanamo Bay, where he served as an infantry platoon leader. He then volunteered to serve in Baghdad and Samarra, where he held positions as both an infantry platoon leader and later as a military operations officer. He then returned to active duty once again in 2012 as a captain and was deployed to Afghanistan with the Minnesota National Guard and acted as the senior counterinsurgency instructor at a training center in Kabul. Right, so a couple things just about him real quick I want to list off. I mean, some of the awards that have gotten through the military, pretty impressive. He received 2 Bronze Stars, 2 Army Commendation Medals, National Defense Service Medal, a Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Expert Infantryman Badge, and a Combat Infantryman Badge, and that was all found off Wikipedia. But pretty extensive military career that he has. A little bit about Pete Hegseth's personal life. This was a little interesting to me. He was married and divorced his first wife, and I won't name his wives, but divorced his first wife in 2009. He remarried again in 2010, and with that second wife, he had 3 children. During that marriage, he had an affair with a Fox executive producer. Her name was Jennifer Roche. I'm not sure who this lady is. But while they were having an affair and while he was still married to his second wife, he had a daughter with the Fox executive producer Jennifer, and again had that daughter while he was still married to his second wife. He ended up divorcing his second wife in 2017 and then remarrying for a third time to the Fox executive producer in 2019, in which she has 3 former kids of her own. So altogether, he has 7 children, 4 of his own and 3 stepchildren, and 3 different wives as of 44. So a lot going on there. But he is very well known for public stances on, the America First, MAGA, Trump view. Uh, a lot of critique on woke policies in the military. He has done a ton of work for veterans throughout his career, created different PACs for them, sought for different funding for them, etc. Has been a very outspoken person for the military and for our veterans. So a lot of service to the country, which we thank him for. One of the questions that I had while I was kind of doing this research are really what are the key roles that the Secretary of Defense does. I mean, I think I pretty much get this, but just to point it out to everyone, kind of bullet point it out here. One is developing and implementing defense policies. It's a pretty broad brush. The second is advising the president on military matters. Again, pretty broad brush there. Ensuring civilian control over the military, which I had to dig into this one a little bit because I didn't quite understand. And what that essentially means is that the government was structured so civilians have control over the military, so the military cannot just act solely on its own through only the military itself. And the way that the structure goes is the president, as the commander-in-chief, has the first orders. It then goes down to the Secretary of Defense, and then it goes to the military, which those two top levels, the president and the Secretary of Defense, are both civilian-appointed roles, the president being elected, the Secretary of Defense being appointed. Right, so those two top layers are classified as civilian, and that's really, meant as an importance on civilian oversight within the government and ensuring that the military doesn't do all that much on its own, or creating a check and balance between the civilian side and the military side. And then, one of the last key responsibilities the Secretary of Defense have is managing the Department of Defense's operations, budgets, and global strategy, which is a huge point right there. The Department of Defense's operations, or budget, I should say, is probably one of the largest budgets in the world, probably outweighs a lot of the countries that are in the world right now. So that is an incredibly large job for someone. I wish Pete all the best. Some could definitely argue that Pete, being only 44 years old and not a ton of executive leadership, we'll say, whether it be in private or public, could put him in an odd position. Now he's in charge of billions and billions of dollars and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people. So a lot of responsibility falling on this guy that has, a lot of, service within his career, but also not a lot of management or large executive management. So we'll see how Pete does. But he is definitely a loyalist to Trump, that's for sure. Okay, we'll move on here and then go to the second big announcement that Trump put out. This one I'll just put on the screen and I'll just kind of read off because I thought the memo that he put out was kind of interesting. Of course, we're not gonna get this to work here, are we? Here we go. All right. So this is coming out from President Donald Trump himself. He states, "I'm pleased to announce that the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with American patriot Vivek Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of Government Efficiency." And in quotes, it says DOGE or DOGE, depending on how you want to say it. Together, these two wonderful Americans will pave the way for my administration to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies, essential to the Save the America movement. This will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people, stated Mr. Musk. It will become potentially the Manhattan Project of our time. Republican politicians have dreamed about the objectives of DOGE for a long time. To drive this kind of drastic change, the Department of Government Efficiency will provide advice and guidance from outside of government and will partner with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive larger-scale structural reform and create an entrepreneurial approach to government never seen before. I look forward to Elon and Vivek making changes to the federal bureaucracy with an eye on efficiency and, at the same time, making life better for all Americans. Importantly, we will drive out the massive waste and fraud which exists throughout our annual $6.5 trillion of government spending. They will work together to liberate our economy and make the U.S. government accountable to we the people. Their work will conclude no later than July 4th, 2026. A smaller government with more efficiency and less bureaucracy will be the perfect gift to America on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. I am confident they will succeed. All right, so I thought that was just a really, really interesting memo. I thought the last part of it was actually super interesting. So their work will conclude no later than July 4th, 2026. So they have, less than 2 years to get this work done. Most people think and most people know that any department or anything started by the government usually never ends. And if so, this is the first department that is really meant to end itself. But we will see as time goes on if this department will actually end in 2026 or what it will even become for that matter next year. Although I'm sure with the publicity that Elon has gotten, and Vivek for that matter, over the course of the election, I'm sure there will be something that comes from this. And the question will be whether, it will make any substantial changes and if it will end on that 2026 date that Trump laid out. I find that just incredibly odd to state that that's going to end, a year and a half into the administration, right? But regardless, that's what it says. Vivek has been awesome throughout this campaign. I strongly support Vivek. He has great ideas. If you haven't heard him, go out and listen to some of the YouTube videos that he has or podcasts, whatever it may be. Vivek has some great points. He would have been even good as a VP pick. And then Elon Musk. I mean, what can you say about Elon? I'm an Elon fanboy, I guess. I think nearly everything Elon does is awesome. He turns most things into gold. He's an incredibly smart guy. I think he is the perfect person to drive inefficiencies out of the government. I think that's just an awesome creation that they have come up with here. And for those of you that don't know, this whole Department of Government Efficiency, right, DOGE or DOGE, however you want to say it. Why is it called DOGE? Why is it called Department of Government Efficiency? It's based off a meme coin that was created 5 years ago, I think it was. So if you didn't know this, there is something called a Dogecoin or a Dogecoin, which is somewhat like a Bitcoin. It has the symbol of a dog, a Shiba Inu dog, and the coin itself was originally created as just kind of making fun of cryptocurrencies, and then ultimately, after it got some publicity and became more of a meme, it became this real meme coin thing. And Elon Musk has been vocal about Dogecoin, kind of poking fun at it here and there, but also propping it up. He's used it on some of his sales for some of his products through Tesla. He talked about it on SNL when he was on SNL a couple years ago. There's a lot of people that I actually know that made a lot of money off Dogecoin, because during that kind of SNL-ish time, I mean, Dogecoin was making jumps of 1,000, 2,000% overnight, so people were getting rich quick off that and losing some money quickly as well. So Dogecoin, Elon has always joked about that when him becoming part of Trump's administration and working with them on government efficiency. Whoever thought of the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge matching the Dogecoin, that has been a meme forever, is genius. And Elon went with it, of course. And, it's all actually kind of funny. You turn a meme coin. Is this going to be a meme department? I mean, we'll see. But it came up really as a joke, and now it's turned into something incredibly serious and something that could potentially have a huge change on America. So I hope for the best with both Vivek and Elon. I was actually hoping Vivek would get a different or stronger role in Trump's administration. I thought he earned it. He campaigned like hell for Trump, did a ton of outreach, and is a very well outspoken, articulate dude. So uh, I was wishing he would be something else within the administration, not just an advisor to this new department with Elon. But regardless, I think any position that he takes within the administration will be good, and I think Vivek has a really bright future in the Conservative Party. So that is all I have for today. Tomorrow, I'll probably come to you with a tech edition. I want to show you some cool stuff that I've been doing lately with AI, ChatGPT primarily, and we'll get off politics for a day and do a little bit of a tech talk. So thank you very much for tuning in. This is your Daily Hit. I'm Adam Jewell. Y'all have a good day. Good night.